All right, guys, I've got something really special for y'all today. This is your friend Keith. I'm live in the control room at Essex Recording Studios just outside London in England, and I've got an incredibly rare, unused, unplayed Vinnie Paul signature snare drum. This thing is a beast. If you have ever heard Vinnie Paul's snares on Pantera records or Hell Yeah records, you already know it's epic. But if you're a drummer, his snare drum is legendary for being the biggest and the baddest. It was the largest snare drum Tama made when his signature came out with them. This is his from DDRUMS. It comes in the original box. But the history on this thing is what's really, really cool. Aside from the fact that it's a mint, brand new old stock signature snare drum from a legendary drummer who's no longer with us, this special snare was a prize at the Guitars DOA. That's the Dean Owners Association UK Party of the Year in 2010. This is a press release from Music Radar. If you go on their website, it's still up there. Just printed this out today. So this was their third annual Dean Owners Association over here in the UK. Huge party, huge bash. You can see Saxon, Michelangelo Battio, Wolf, Onslaught, all sorts of amazing acts playing this night. Smoking Hot Emma Barnett from Total Rock Radio hosting. She's the compere. And look who's sponsoring it. Marshall, Bill Lewington, and the Dean Owners Association. Now, Bill Lewington, as you see over here, they were the distributor for Dean guitars. All the Dimebag guitars sold in the UK up until very recently came from Bill Lewington. We actually bought out the last little bits of their warehouse. We've got a giant cardboard cutout of Dimebag from Dean guitars that we got from them. A full stack of the Dime branded amp and cabs. Real cool stuff. We got one of the very few Union Jack flag Dimebag Razorbacks. So that's just awesome. And for those that don't know, Mr. Vinnie Paul, we've got a signed photo of him right here. This is not included with the snare, but I just wanted to show this. He was a huge fan of the UK and London. He came over here a lot. I don't think people realize how often he came over here. And you could often find him when he was over doing a show, you know, in London at one of the local rock bars around Camden, for sure. Yeah, it was really great. I got to see him at the Waterfront in Norwich. That was a really cool show with Hell Yeah. I saw him with Damage Plan a couple weeks before his brother Dimebag was killed on stage. I saw the St. Louis show, and then, you know, a couple weeks later was the fateful show. It was totally nuts. Unfortunately, Vinny's no longer with us, and you know, it's getting tough to find really good examples of his stuff. Collectors are snatching it all up. You can see, I mean, look at the badge on here. And this guy, whether you know it or not, and whether you like to admit it or not, one of the most influential drummers of the 90s that has a major impact on how heavy hard rock and metal players today play. I was just watching James here. He was at the computer screen, and he bought this thing, Get Good Drums, the other day because they were having a sale. It's like a plug-in that interacts with the, I guess the DAW, the user interface for recording. And in Get Good Drums in this day and age, 2020, one of the few snares they got is the Vinnie Paul signature snare. It's freaking giant. It's 8 inches by 14 inches, guys. It's super deep, and it's super crazy loud. Original snare head on it. Obviously, it's unmarked, unplayed, because you've got all these beautiful signatures. I don't know all of them. I'll tell you the ones I can identify. That's Doug Scarrett from Saxon. Michelangelo Battio there, for sure. You see a few of the other, there's a Wolf, Artemis. I'm not familiar with that band, but I'm pretty sure they were somewhere on this press release. Maybe not. There's a load of signatures on here. I don't know if Vinnie's is on here. If there was one that was on this, I guess it would be this, but I don't know. I can tell you that his signatures are not the most consistent. And to be frank, I mean, the guy drank a lot of whiskey, a lot of Crown Royal. So, depending on what time of the day it was, would probably, dictate what that signature looked like. So I'm just showing you the one that we have on this signed photo here. And then you can see the one that's actually on the box here. So they vary, guys. No promises on that one. But a lot of fun it will probably be, going through and hunting these people down on social media and trying to find out what happened that night, 2010. The press release says, let's see here. This press release was on September 6th, 2010. The party says September 25th, 7 p.m. at the Black Horse in London. And this went out 2 days later, the 27th of September, 2010. So that all lines up. Main headliners include Onslaught, Swedish metalers Wolf, bands like Population 4, Artemis, Guardians of Andromeda, and others. Michelangelo Batio will be on showing just how many notes you can get out of the Dean fretboard. Very cool. And the Raffle from Hell with prizes donated by Dean Guitars UK, Vinnie Paul, Michelangelo Batio, and many others on the night. Very, very cool. Man, I wish I was there. I was still living in America at that time. Sounds like a hell of a night. But yeah, I would, see if you can find Emma Barnett on social media or any of these guys from any of these bands and say, hey, what happened that night? Who was there? What was going on? Was Vinnie there? Do you remember the raffle? That'd be fun. These snare drums are starting to go for big bucks. What I really like about this one are these bullet points. They're not cheap, they're not like cheap old plastic. They feel just very well made. Definitely a rock solid snare. You can see the sides have punched through a little bit on the box because they are sharp. I mean, depending on how much of an aficionado you are, I guess you could take the head off and put different heads on, and then you'd have a killer looking snare for your kit, either at home or on stage. Frankly, I think this should just be a really cool display piece that gets mounted on the wall, whether it's a restaurant and you're going for a hard rock cafe vibe, or you've got a cool kind of studio setup like this and you want some cool stuff on the wall. I don't know, guys, a lot of possibilities here for sure. But you get the snare, you get the press release from Music Radar. It's got all the original, what we call case candy in the guitar world, original hang tag, tuning key. You've got the original Bill Lewington receipt for this where it was shipped out. I've got the guy's name covered. Original box. So just the box and the unplayed new old stock snare in its own right, quite valuable. But with all of these signatures from the whole Dean Owners Association and, major endorsed artists, Michelangelo Batio has got some killer signature guitars, amazing instructional video. Go watch his videos from the 80s. He's got a funny saying. He's like, I'm going to give you the keys to the Lamborghini. It's so cheesy, but he is insanely fast in that video. It's the fastest thing I've ever seen. It looks like someone hit the fast forward button, but it's not. It's in real time, and it's the most insane thing I've ever seen my whole life. So you've got his signature right there, and just a lot of other great names and great bands and a great story. Man, what a great conversation piece. Good rock and roll history from the past decade. All right, dudes, I got to get going. We got a lot of videos to do. Hit us up on the social media at Essex Recording Studios, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We don't do MySpace anymore. It's been, man, MySpace has been dead forever. But yeah, guys, hit us up on there. Smash the subscribe button if you haven't already, and click like on this video. And I will see you soon. In the comments section, if you can identify any signatures, by all means, brag about how many you can. And yeah, see you in the next video, guys.